welcome back to the show, my people. Now, every year on the 8th of March, we get to celebrate the awesomeness that is womanhood, the global, social, economical, cultural, and political achievements of women with themes empowering each year. Now, I'm ready to get into this discussion, but as you know, I'm not doing this alone. I've got two special ladies right here to eat into the conversation. I've got the stunning broadcast journalist and our very own Blessings Mosuku.
Give it up for me. It's not easy. My debut appearance.
Come on. I love the energy already. Thank you so much for bringing the vibe.
I know. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
And of course, our ever gorgeous, chocolate dripping, dark skinned female herself.
Wash me gently,
Happy
please.
Come on. See, if I know what's you, how will we continue?
I will
this show?
turn white if
It's
you
as
wash
if you
me.
wash her more than you wash me.
So you want me to take it again? I should take it again.
It's fine.
Thank you guys so much. Welcome to the show. Now let's get right into the conversation that is Women's Day. Now this year the theme is Digital Innovation and Technology for Gender Equality, which highlights the role of innovation technology in promoting gender equality and meeting the health and developmental. English they hard. People noticed it.
It's actually a mouthful.
Actually, yeah, but
Developmental.
exactly developmental needs of women and girls. Now, the aim of International Women's Day 2023 is hashtag Embrace Equity. That's the theme, and the campaign goes talking about equal opportunities aren't enough. Now, people from different places, people are from different places, and so is true inclusion when you bring everybody together and give them equitable action. Now, of course, there are some societal norms and setbacks that have affected us women along the way. However, I want to find out from you, my guests, are equal opportunities really not enough? And what does gender equality mean to you as opposed to gender? And what does gender equity mean to you as opposed to gender equality? Now, I want to start from Blessings right here, because I know that Amela is always ready to give us. So let me start with you, Blessings.
Okay. Well, I would say that over time, right, there's been this narrative. So when the whole gender equality awareness came about, it was as if it also came with this, nonchalant attitude from people, in the sense that, okay, you want gender equality, we'll give you gender equality. Maybe that's what you want. Okay, just give them because,
Just give them.
and that doesn't suffice. If you look at the society, we're not asking to be, it now looks as if you're doing women a favor by giving them those positions. That's not what we're asking for. We're asking to be heard, to be seen. If I deserve it, if I can do it, then let me do it and let me get paid as much as I'm doing it,
Okay.
So I don't think that gender equality is just it. It has to come with, the intention to do it, not just doing it because people say you should do it, right?
Yeah.
It's not just pity the child or, give to orphans because I just want to give because you care for them. It's the same way, give women opportunity because they can deliver. Not because you think if we don't do it now, voila.
Say we didn't
Yeah,
do it.
so let me just piggyback on
Okay.
that. And it's like, that's where equity and equality, because equity is literally the process to get to equality.
Yes.
So equity is like you're fair to a man and a woman. It's like fairness, literally.
Yes.
And then equality is giving everybody the same opportunities, not because this person was given this sex was labeled this sex at birth or whatever,
Yes.
that you should then pick them over this
Over
person.
the
So
other.
equal opportunities. But first, we have to be fair to both sexes.
So
and
basically,
then
what you're
get
trying to
to
say is that
equality.
we could have started with equity
Yeah.
before even launching
equality.
equality,
Yes.
because that's what we've been. Okay, now our very own President Muhammadu Buhari joined Nigerian women in celebrating the International Women's Day in a series of tweets on Wednesday, and he pledged his administration's commitment to ensuring equal opportunity for women in Nigeria, adding that in politics, Nigerian women were still largely underrepresented. Now, Natasha Akpoti Uduaghan, the Kogi Central senatorial candidate of the People's Democratic Party, who in the just concluded National Assembly elections lamented that only 2 women made it to the 10th Senate in the February 25th general elections, urging more women to get involved and actively participate in politics. Now, my question, would we say women largely do not have interest in taking up space in these areas, or we do not have the opportunity to?
I think it's interesting because I was having this conversation earlier on my own show, and we're talking about the fact that from the elementary stage, especially in this part of the world, right, where we get to see a lot of things happening in schools, where there's subjects that your teachers are teaching you based on this is what you have to do. Take home economics, for example, right? Let's not lie. Sometimes your home economics teacher will just say, when you are in the kitchen as a girl, or when you're playing football as a guy. So that way they start already giving you, assigning roles to you, and then defining. You get. So I feel like people now grow up to think that I don't think this is my thing, right? We're woke, we are aware, but because we're so, it's like we've been brainwashed for the longest time. Yeah, we've been programmed. So it doesn't now feel right to want to do that anymore. And that's why I think that awareness needs to be pushed more. It's not our fault. It's not home economics.
Yeah, and I really think that there are women who definitely want to take up these spaces, but they feel that it wouldn't be a fair fight for them because literally it's a man's, like in politics, for example. I feel like it's the more women see that it is possible for women like them. They see women in certain positions and then they know, okay, this is possible and I can do it. It's not that they don't want to do it. They just need to see that it's actually possible.
That's true.
Yeah. So we just need more women to push forward and do it in the first place. Let's see that this thing can happen for every one of us. I really get you. Now, before we get into the next question, I would like us to check out this video, and I think that we would all relate to it as women. So let's check this video out first. I can feel like we all felt it somehow. It feels like I can see a little bit of tears in Abiola's eye. No. It's almost like you're emotional right now. Tears in my eyes. Hot guy, okay, hot guy, I get it. But in all of this, have you ever been in any of these situations where things like this, like you've had these achievements, at some point, but it looks like people are, responding to your achievements with this kind of comebacks, like it's not enough, you didn't do enough, it's just you. Have you ever, let me start with you, Amiola. Have you ever been in this kind of situation?
Well, I think everybody has been in at least one of these types of situations. Even from the first one, it's like, it's your menstrual cramps. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
It's like, you're not in this situation with me, so don't. And I'm going to give an example. My sister is a writer, and I'm sure that it wasn't a thing that my parents thought about consciously when they were having this conversation with her, but she got published. She's getting published this year. And so my parents were saying, oh my God, so proud of you, congratulations. And my mom is like, it's now for you to find a husband so that God will complete you. And then it's like, I'm already complete in myself in this moment. Why do I need a man to finish it off? Do you understand me? Yes. So it's even in these little things, like your parents don't even realize how their own input in it. But I feel like everybody has gone through at least one of these scenarios.
At least. I saw you nodding your head blessings to one particular part. You're like, yes, this, yes, this.
Honestly, look, to be honest, right, kudos to these content creators because they really push out very relatable content. It looks as if it's never enough, right? Every stage of your life, there's always that criticism. They're always attributing every bit of your success to this, to that, to this. Okay, you're doing this. Okay, let me even prove them wrong that I can do this. Then you do it and they're like, oh, it's because you did this.
It's because
and you're like, what do you want?
How much more do I have to do?
Yeah, so I mean, it really is relatable. And that's why I was nodding my head like, you get some.
Okay. Now, some people did not relate anyways to the entire situation, the entire theme of this year. Now, Skookie Bishon made a Twitter thread about this year's International Women's Day theme, noting that it was, in quote, not making sense. In his words, equality means everyone gets equal opportunities and how you perform is up to you. Equity means you are measured to see if you're at an advantage, and if you are, you would be drawn back and others favored so they can catch up with you. equity itself is the highest form of inequality. He went on and on, citing that a few years ago we said we wanted equality, and now it seems like we realize it's not working for us, so we go for equity, adding that this victimhood must stop. Now, would you say that women are playing the victim card? Because from Skookie's point of view, it's like we're looking for, the comfortable point to fall back on, and just whatever works for us. So would you say women are playing the victim card based off of his analogy on, this
I think
situation?
that Skookie needs to pick up books or like Google and really Google find meanings to what gender equality and gender equity means.
Bullets flying
you know,
up
and not just spew things based on what you imagine that it means.
Yeah.
Actually do your research and check what it means, what gender equity means. If you're not really sure, don't take the word and say equity means this and that. Equity, isn't that a business term generally? Like, if you're going to pick the words individually, then it wouldn't work. So
and
you
let me
need to
even say this, right? If we're going by what he says, nobody is saying draw back people that are successful so that we behind can catch up. Nobody has ever said that, right? Women are not fighting for men to sit down at home while we go and work. We're just saying we can work as much as you can work, right? So if we're going by that,
fairness
it's still
for both
not
sexes.
adding
It's not
up.
about pushing anybody back. Like,
It's just the fairness.
yeah, stop it, Skookie.
Stop it. It's the same.
I think he's playing the victim.
Yes,
No.
Stop it.
not us.
Stop playing the victim. Okay, now I'm going to play devil's advocate here and side a little with Skookie, not completely, because quite honestly, like we said earlier, I feel like we should have asked for equity from the jump before equality. If we did, we wouldn't have cases like this where people feel like, okay, now we're taking the one that feels comfortable with us, because it now looks like we didn't completely analyze the long-term results of equality.
I think it's
where we made
absolutely
the
crazy
request.
that we have to ask for equity or equality.
To ask for anything,
Yeah,
really.
that's the world we somehow found ourselves in, because generally it wasn't even supposed to be. We were all supposed to be at par from the
Yes.
jump.
And
And
then
honestly, we're not asking according to how the English goes in the dictionary. We're asking because we're being deprived of what
yes,
it is.
and then I understand that women say, okay, if equality is so hard for you to understand, then let's go back to equity. Where
Equity
it's that
and stuff,
and
why
exactly,
it's
you're
supposed
starting
to
from
be
scratch.
in the first place.
Exactly.
Okay, now all of these aside, we're still celebrating women, and we cannot do that without also recognizing some lifelong friendships that have led us, held us up together for the longest. And on that note, we'll be heading right into our next story, which borders on friendship, right after the break. Keep it locked. Welcome back to the show, Nibam. For the second part of the show, we're going in a little on female friendships. And we can all attest to the fact that some of the best and empowering moments we've had have been spent with our female friends. We create these strong bonds that encompass the most part of our young and adult lives, leading up to the big moments and celebrations like promotions, graduations, and our big day, the wedding. Now, a bride-to-be on TikTok sparked a debate after she said that her bridesmaids should not have to pay a cent to be a part of her big day. Now, let's take a look at the video before we proceed.
Should you make your bridesmaids pay their own way for their wedding? For context, I'm a 2023 bride. I'm getting married in August, and I don't expect my bridesmaids to pay for a single thing, including the hens party. Your wedding is not your bridesmaids' financial responsibility. If they were a guest, they would be paying a certain amount to come to your wedding. Sure, in wedding gifts, maybe they're buying a new dress, for example. But if they're in your bridal party, they're paying for a lot of stuff. Bridal shower, hens party, makeup, hair, if you're paying for that, a dress, jewelry, shoes, and a wedding gift on top of that. You're essentially asking for them to pay for your financial responsibilities, right? It's your wedding. You want to have a wedding, and yet you're expecting them to put their financial goals or their finances to the side to make way for your wedding when it may not be in their budget at all. And to the brides that think, oh, this is a privilege to be my bridesmaids, I would implore you to think again. Your bridesmaids are dedicating their time, their emotional energy, their physical energy to be a bridesmaid in whatever aspect you expect them to show up for. So asking them to pay financially on top of that, and weddings are not cheap. Hold on, weddings are not cheap. On average, it's going to be around $1,000 on average, the Australian average, for a bridesmaid to pay her way from start to finish.
Okay, now let's bear in mind that according to my findings in the US, the bridesmaids are traditionally expected to pay for their dresses, accessories, hair, makeup, etc., etc. Now, do you think bridesmaids should pay their way through for your wedding or have to, ever have to pay to be a bridesmaid, basically? Straight up. No,
N-O. No.
Have you ever had to pay?
Girl, I have. And the wedding wasn't in Lagos. We had to fly.
Thank you. I was going to say that.
To another state.
So this is why so many people, including myself, stopped attending weddings. Not because you don't love your friends, but because what is all this expense that I didn't plan for? Do you understand? Like, I have to pay all of that. And then you know very well. And this was a period where flights, if you know in Nigeria, that flight became double the price.
Yeah.
So you have to do all of that and then travel and buy this and buy, and then some people demand for a specific kind of hairstyle. I don't know if you know, but some friends will say, okay, this is the kind of hairstyle I want, the kind of jewelry.
I want it natural. I want the hair natural. Like, yeah, there are lots of demands that I think that brides make from their bridesmaids. And I think it's a bit unnecessary, or it's a bit, I mean, people say it's your wedding day, you're allowed to be selfish, but you should actually really think about, you should consider your friends, you should consider their financial situations, and you should see whether or not they can afford to, even if they can afford to do it, like, would I rather use my money for something else?
Yeah. So now, talking about considering your friends, there's a post I saw on Twitter, Bridemaids tweeted, I spent $3,000 to go to Hawaii for a friend's wedding. Then $100 on the bridesmaid's dress, plus $200 for a hotel and for her second wedding. And she gonna be mad because I genuinely could not spend another $1,000 to go to her bachelorette trip. I ended our friendship the day after the wedding, okay? Is she in the wrong for ending that friendship right after the wedding? Because
she's not.
Let's take notes when she says second wedding. She cheated on the last man, marry another one. I read the food thread, my dear. I read the food thread. The gist was sweet.
Well, I think that she should have ended that friendship before the wedding.
First of all, how dare that wedding even end after spending that much money on your wedding?
$3,000 to go to Hawaii, my dear. No, you would try it. So she's obviously not in the wrong.
She's not in the wrong. She's not in the wrong.
Okay, now there's another one from the bridesmaid stables. Now, Camille tweeted, people are debating whether or not as bridesmaids you're obligated to stay for the whole wedding. You people hate your friends. So I'm asking, is it a big deal if a bridesmaid leaves the wedding before the end, or are they obligated to stay all through?
I think people just demand too much from bridesmaids. They will pack money from the floor. They will run after you, wipe your sweat, entertain your family members. Like,
so the thing is, to be honest, this is like a really dicey situation, because it boils down to the entitlement, right? You don't ask or demand these things of me. I will stay because you're my friend and I want to see you through to the end, but not because if you go, I will shoot you, and things like that. So I feel like we should just dial down a bit on the entitlement and then let people do things because they care, not because, hey, if I go now, oh God, I don't, things like that.
I mean, but if you're a bridesmaid, you want to show that you care. But obviously, we do understand the fact that sometimes people might be rushing off to work the next day. Some people travel to come over for the wedding. So I feel like generally this is more of an understanding perspective. You understand that your friends they have financial responsibilities for themselves as well. They have time to put back into work, and they have all of this. And we have to be understanding at the end of the day. It's not always. It doesn't always have to be selfish on your day.
Dial down the selfishness.
Dial down the selfishness. Okay, now you guys, the itchy itch is knocking on our door. I'm excited for this one, so keep it locked.
Mama told me there'll be days like this. Put your pen to paper, never use your fist. Imagine how I came through my phase rhyming. Started my career, blew it up with a tribesman. A lot of people had their own opinion. Took it in my stride.
As an absolute girl that I am, obviously this entire track, I wish we could even see the entire thing, but we're like running out of time. There's a lot of throwback songs. I feel like after this we need to play it and like have a good time. But which song would you say is that throwback, that one song that, you know, female song that you absolutely loved growing up?
Wow. I don't remember.
I loved Ijoya Weird MC.
Ijoya, come on, Ijoya.
I know. I'm trying to think about the song. I feel like
I loved it.
Okay. You have 2 seconds to think. You cannot think.
no, I can't think. But like the Kenny saying, oh my God, yes. Oh yeah, see we now.
Okay, we absolutely need to go. If we stay here, it will be a long time. I want to know if like every song in this playlist absolutely, you know, somehow stuck to us. And if we decide to remember everything, it will be a lot. Now, this episode absolutely got me totally delighted. I was enjoying every bit of this episode of Popcast. I'm pretty sure my guests did as well. And I hope you all did as well. Indeed, my people, I hope you enjoyed it just as much as we did. Now, don't forget to celebrate a sister girl this month and be kinder to your friends. And until I see you next week, Yagazera Guitar, have a nice day.